My name is Doris and Luke. Oh. Okay. Hi, my name is Doris and Luca. I'm part of the HR club as a CPHR ambassador. We would like to start with the land acknowledge. So we acknowledge this place is the unsucceed and ancestral territory of Squamish speaking people, the Squamish and Musqueam nations, and has been served by them since the immemorial. Vancouver is located on a territory that was never ceded or given up to the crown by Musqueam or Squamish people. The term also acknowledge the disposition of the land and the inherent right that Musqueam and Squamish hold to the territory. The term serves as a reminder that Musqueam and Squamish have been left have never left their territories and will always retain their jurisdictions and relations with the territory. And Anna is going to present us our guest speaker now.
Thank you, Doris. Well, I have the honor to introduce Juliana Escobar, who holds a master's degree in sales and marketing and has worked for different multinational companies. Before joining Hayes Colombia Sales and Marketing Recruitment Division 5 years ago, she transitioned to a new division that focused on providing talent recruitment solutions for multinational companies in Latam. She successfully managed multiple projects across a range of industry, including pharmaceuticals, FMCG, O&G, and manufacturing. Recently, Juliana decided to take on a new challenge and relocate to Hayes, Vancouver, where she is currently leading the manufacturing and logistic division. In this role, she oversees all aspects of operations for companies in this sector, working closely with her team to ensure success. Juliana, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, and thank you very much, team. I'm going to share my screen right now, so I'll stop seeing you all. Let me know when you're ready, okay? Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Okay. Bueno, déjeme tomo la clínica.
I think there's someone there. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. The idea of this presentation is to help you a little bit more looking for the right opportunity for you. Like yourself, I migrated here to Canada and I've been able to understand a little bit more about the labor market, recruiting it myself for a bunch of companies. And the reality is what people see in Montreal, in Toronto, is not the same reality here in Vancouver. Usually companies here, they're a family-owned business. They are business that are trying to grow more than they have been throughout the years. So it's been over 100 years, for example, they have been here growing, they have done successfully. If they survived COVID, then means that they are growing, they have expansion programs. So why are they going to give you that opportunity? And this is how I'm going to show you that maybe you can sell your profiles to these companies and make them sure that you're the right fit for that company, okay? So what we're going to see today is basically, I'm going to share a little bit more about who Hayes is, because of course, maybe I'm not thinking that every one of you knows who Hayes is. Then a little bit about like how to format your resume. And according to that resume that you're going to format, then you're going to be able to identify the right opportunities for yourself in the labor market. And after being able to prepare yourself for that interview that you were seeking so long to get. So now it's the time, of course, to prepare yourself for that interview. Afterwards, just some questions. So as you see, this is just going to be really information that you're going to be able to process pretty easily, I hope. But if you have any questions, then please let me know at the end of the presentation, okay? So, well, who is Hayes? Basically, we're a British multinational. We have over 50 years of experience recruiting, over 20 specialisms, and we have presence in 33 countries, but it doesn't mean that we just recruit for those 33 countries. We have physical offices there, around 265 abroad. And then we have almost 7,800 consultants all over the world. Here in Canada, we're one of the largest recruitment agencies, and we have different business divisions. So we'll have contracts, we will have projects, we will have full-time perm positions that are the ones that I recruit with my team. So we'll basically cover everything that is in need of a company in terms of recruiting the right talent for their company. So let's start with the first one that I think is the one that people are looking forward to, how to format your resume. So before we start, I want to make sure that you understand that even though you applied and you take a lot of time of developing your career into 6-10 pages, the headhunter, recruiter, TA, they're just going to take 40 seconds or less to review your resume. They are just going to look at the screen, review if they got like the keywords that they're looking for. If not, then the next one. And it's a sad situation, but unfortunately, everyone needs the person right now ASAP, and hiring managers, they are not waiting. So the people that are in talent, they are always looking for the best and quality talent at the same time, but pretty fast at the same time. So careful with inconsistencies, because if, for example, you send your resume and it says that you were working in a company, and then it appears that another company you were working at the same time, and they are both like full-time positions, people will start to be a little bit doubtful about your experience, about if that is a real experience that you had, maybe the degrees of also, if you just put like which degree you had, but not the university, not even the year that you had that degree, that is going to be something that they will doubt a lot. If your designation, like the year that you had it, like how long is it going to be able that you will be able to have that designation like on rule. And then in terms of your background, in terms of the professional background, is in Canada, it's really important that the academic background and the local experience, they will match to what you're looking for. I know that Canadian experience is something that people really hear in the interviews. So I'm just going to teach you how to avoid that uncomfortable situation and be able to sell yourself as a good candidate for the role, even though you don't have that much of a local experience as other candidates may have. So this is a little bit dizzy now that I'm seeing it, but basically I wanted to show you a little bit of what is it going to be expected as a resume. First of all, contact information, put it first. I know there are people that are a little bit creative on where they put the phone number and the email. No, just put it right away in the top. Like if the person sees that you are the right person, they're just going to call you right away. They are not going to be looking at the last page to look for the contact information. That's something that was used before COVID, because before COVID, you will, oh, I really like, so you will want them to go to the back of the resume just to search for your phone. Here, don't do that anymore. We're looking for speed. We're looking for the people that get the resume faster, and with where I'm going to be able to contact that person faster as well. So name, phone, email, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I know some people, they still struggle a little bit with LinkedIn, but it's really important that you have a LinkedIn account. It doesn't mean that you have to have every single information there. Just having the companies that you work for, the name of the role that you were working in that company for, that is important, because most of the background, if it's what it was back in your country and it's not here, the talent acquisition person will be able to just click and understand a little bit more about how big was that company that that you were working with back then. So it's really important, the LinkedIn piece. So that's all for the contact information, pretty easy. Now for the profile, I really like to tell like this kind of analogy to my candidates when they are preparing their resume. So if you are going to travel somewhere and then you're looking for a hotel and you want to book a room, you already kind of have the idea of that perfect room that you want to book. You don't want a single bed, you want multiple beds if you have a family. You want a sea view because, of course, work is pretty stressful. I want to go out with my vacation and have a nice view. And then I wanted to have breakfast included because I don't want to think in the morning. And those are the things that TA, HR, headhunters think about. The hiring manager provide them a list of what they want to have for that perfect person to join the role. So make sure that in this profile, you're going to hit all the keywords that make you different from the person that is sitting next to you. So there's a lot of HR managers in the business, but what makes you different from the other HR manager that you work with? So for example, let's say the scopes, the countries that you have the opportunity to work with, the type of roles, like if you have been a project manager, if you have been a project engineer, if you have been a purchasing manager, the type of portfolios you have been able to work with. Is it food industry, manufacturing, like industrial places, if it has been a wholesaler, if it has been like retailer, and all the piece of the industries, of course. Then in terms of teams, have you been able to lead a team? And then here it comes where people say, oh, I like proactive, enthusiast, and all these really nice words. But in the end, everyone can write that in the resume and it cannot be true. Like what we want here is facts. We want things that actually happen throughout your career and that you're going to be able to explain how you were able to achieve those pieces throughout your professional career and be able to continue developing your career there. Some projects, I know, for example, in oil gas industry is really important. The type of projects that you have been in charge for. Construction, civil is also really important here. So projects is a pretty important piece. But the funny thing here, and when I think it's going to be really stressful, is you're going to narrow this down into 4 lines. So we're not going to have the 10 bullet points in the first page so that you can say all your experience there and then repeat it then in your professional background. No, we just want 4 lines where you'll be able to say, I don't know, MBA professional with this amount of years of professional experience working with these industries, have experience in this type of markets, working with this type of cross-functional projects teams, and data, data, data. But they are all going to be just facts. They are not going to be those nice words that hiring managers are looking for, because those are the things that they're going to be reviewing in the interview. Here, we just want you to sell your profile different from the other person that is also applying for that role. So here are just the facts about the roles that you have been able to say. And I know I sound crazy saying facts, 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 but yeah, like that's the only important thing that you have to think about when constructing that piece of your profile. Those are the keywords that you're going to highlight on your profile, like when you create a LinkedIn profile, like which are the skills that they will suggest that you add there. Like Excel here, I come from LATAM, so in LATAM it's really normal that people have Excel or Microsoft. Here is not that common. That's an important thing that you could mention there, like experience with ERP systems such as SAP, such as SAP, Oracle, JD Edwards, Microsoft package, like all those things, they have to be there, and they have to be 4, maximum 5 lines, because we don't want to steal the show to the other piece that is really important. So the professional background is just going to be about the company that you have worked with previously or are currently working with, the name of the role, the responsibilities that you had, and then I want you to see that responsibilities is just 1 line. It's not going to be a paragraph, it's one line, 2 lines. And what it's going to say there is basically, what did you did in your role? What did you had any team? Okay, if you don't have it, then don't write it. Which scope do you have, in a regional or a national scope? What was the main idea of your role? What was the main task that you were having in that position? And that is going to be just that line, like to help the person that is reviewing your profile. They already see that you have the keywords here, and it's going to look a little bit of the amount of responsibilities that you were able to have. Oh, that person had a global responsibility. That means they have a really large experience leading cross-functional teams and different departments. Or that person have a regional. Oh, that means that person is specialized in that niche of the space in the market. And then think about achievements. So responsibilities and achievements, they can be mixed, and it's something that we always see in their resumes, because people, they think, oh, I was in charge for, 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 and then I was able to develop this. So this is wrong, because we want you to show yourself as a manager level, as a coordinator, as a next level. You are not an entry level position. Leave the responsibilities to the entry level positions, because that means that if they are being delegated more responsibilities, it's because they're good at getting the job done. You're going to be a little bit more strategical on the jobs that you're doing. So which achievements have you gained throughout the years of the roles that you have? So the achievements should be a little bit of like, what did you achieve, and then how you achieve it. And this again is going to be a really stressful thing, because it's just going to be a sentence that you're going to be able, I achieve cost efficiencies of 20% by reaching out to local suppliers for this mechanical component. And that's an achievement, and that is really important for you to have. And then you will start writing down these 5 achievements. It's really important that, for example, if you're looking for a leadership role, don't mention that you have leadership mindset. Here, what you can say instead, and showing yourself as a good leader, is, well, you were leading that team. How many people got promoted? How many people stay in the company? How many people were able to move to another division because you were able to train them so good that they become a new asset for another division? Those are the things that you're going to showcase as a leader. You're not going to be saying, oh, I had a team of blah, blah. No, just mention the facts about how you were able to be a good leader and how you were able to name them. And then the achievements, they always have to have a quality percentage. So even if it's just a percentage in terms of finance indicators, or in leadership, like the people that you were leading at the same time, division that you were leading, how many people were getting promoted. And then in terms of like the industries that you were able to understand. So when I'm saying like quick learner, like instead of saying, oh, I learn fast and all those things, no, it's like saying that you come from another industry and that you were able, of course, to have this success in this new industry that you were learning, just by doing something that you were doing before. So I don't know, let's say you come from a retailer and that you were used to drinking beverages, and I don't know, for a liquor store. Yeah, so you were a wholesaler for liquor stores, and then you will have this amount of inventory management, and you will know how to do it. Then you start working for a grocery store, and then you see that the inventory management that they were doing is not the right fit. So you start implementing a little bit of the strategies that you were doing in the liquor store back into the grocery store for inventory management. Okay, so those are the things that you will have to trick and change into achievements, rather than saying, oh, I have this. Yeah, how do you have it? Show me how you have it in your resume. So this will be the first piece. Then says other experience. I highly recommend you not to erase who you were before. A lot of, I don't know, COOs, VPs, because they have such a lot, like 30 years, 25 years of experience, they don't know how to like reduce the space. So here is about like being able to get to that next stage. So for example, in this role, you're going to be having 5 achievements. In this role, you will be having 3 achievements. In the next one, you will be having 2 achievements. And then you put other experiences, and it will be just the company, the role, and the date that you have it. Because we want you to highlight how strategic you are, not how a doer, how a person, how an entry-level person you were. You used to be there, and it's good. And companies, like hiring managers, they come to me and they want the person that had the experience and was able to sweat themselves up in order to get that new role as a manager. They want the person that started from the bottom and then was able to get promoted. That's something those are nicest stories that you want to show in your resume. You started as an assistant, everyone started somewhere. So you can't just erase that from your experience. And then academic background. It's funny how people show their degrees and stuff. The best way to do it, because most of the universities you went to back in your countries again, or in other regions in Canada, they are not going to sound familiar to the person that is recruiting you. In the end, Canada is a country of immigrants, so everyone is from everywhere. So it's really difficult that I will be able to know every single university that my candidates went to. So the degree is really important, because my hiring manager, the one that I'm working with, did told me that he wanted a project engineer. So this person is certified as a PN from, I don't know, from X university, and which was the date that they assessed in that how long it took them, or just the year that they finished that study. Okay, so this is like the overall of the resume. Is pretty clear, and it's going to be really stressful. I really hope all of my friends and my candidates, and it becomes frustrating because even though it's your experience, you have to take your heart out a little bit and then start being a little bit more rational on what is important to be there. And once you be able to reduce your resume into 1 or 2 pages, that's just going to be awesome. But remember that it's going to be a difference between responsibilities and achievements. You can't just double them up. Otherwise, you won't be doing anything. So the first tip is just, of course, responsibilities, they are less than achievements. Here, I think all of you are doing your MBA, all of you are doing your next degree, so you are not entry levels. The companies are looking for what are you going to bring as an asset to the company, and you have to understand that you're not going to be asked to do stuff. You're going to be asked to develop the stuff. That is the different things when you're writing a resume and you have more achievements there. The second piece will be the achievements per job. So for example, the recent role that you have, or the recent role, the more closet that you had, should have more achievements. And then the last one should have less. And the reason why is because visually, I'm able to see how this person is going to be more more strategical, and is going to be able to develop a legacy within the company that is going to be more positive for the company than the other person that has that experience, but I haven't seen like the growth that the person had. So this is going to help you visually to show yourself as a successful person. Well, the third tip I already mentioned, all the experiences are important, and it can be just a line, to be honest. It's funny, I used to be a fashion designer because I wanted to be a fashion designer, and then I started, I hated it. Then I want to study my master in business because I want to do that. And then when I studied my master in business, I started working in Bacardi, and then I worked with different multinational companies. I just did my degree in fashion designer, but I still put it there because it's funny, but some things that I learned in that career actually make sense in some of the things that I'm doing here, especially when I was working in marketing. A lot of the things that I was teach there will make sense in other things. So you never know how the previous experience that you had was going to work for the person that is hiring you. So it's never to leave it that way. If they don't ask you for it, no problem. If they ask you for it, then that's good, because that means that they are intrigued and they want to see what else are you going to bring into the table because you had that experience. And then the colors depends. If you're a person that is looking for a marketing role, okay. If you're looking for project engineer, no, it's better to leave it like really black and white, or gray, or maybe some blue if you want your bullet points to have a little bit of touch, but don't do the crazy designs. I study in Spain, and in Barcelona is totally different. They will tell me like, oh, you have to do this, and then you have to put your picture there, and then it's completely different how the resumes are done in Europe, well, we're in Spain, than what they are done here. Here they just want the plain stuff. They don't want a photo, so take off the picture, because this is kind of discriminatory if you just show your picture. Like it's not seen well. Like, take off the picture. Even though you have a pretty face, take off the picture out there. And then the design, well, the design, as I mentioned, it depends. I would rather prefer receiving resumes for this, like this, rather than the person that will put the achievements first, and then the end is going to be like the profile, professional background, and then I have to match the achievements with the experience that they have, with the timeline that they did downstairs, and then I don't know, they put hobbies, and because they put hobbies, they will put like a basketball. I've seen everything here. So the design, I mean, it depends if you're running for a publishing role, if you're going toward marketing, or if you're going for something that is really creative, do it. If not, keep it simple. Remember, you are not entry level. You're going to be applying to roles that are going to be a next level within the companies. Now, after developing that resume, how I'm going to look for new opportunities. So two ways basically to look for jobs. One is passive and one is active. Most of my friends here, when they come here, they're like, Julia, I'm not able to get a job. It's impossible. People are not answering to you. Okay, which type of role are you doing? Are you being passive looking or active looking? Passive looking means that you subscribe yourself to Indeed, to LinkedIn, you send your resume to a bunch of recruitment headhunters, and then also some people, they join some of the groups that are within LinkedIn that are relevant to the institution or the industry that they want to work with. That is passive because you're just making them notice like, hey, I'm here. That is different. Active means that you're expanding your network. Are you not just registering your resume? Are you actually writing to the hiring managers of those roles? Are you reaching out to the companies that you want to work with, even though they are not posting any jobs? But are you reaching out to them like, hey, and are you reaching out to the hiring managers, the person that you think is going to be your boss? Like if you are a purchasing manager, are you writing to procurement directors? Are you, if you're a logistics coordinator, are you writing to the logistics managers? Because those are the person that are needing the team. And if you write them and if the person needs them, most likely the person will be, yes, please send your resume to this person. Oh yes, let's just book a time and let's just have some coffee, because that's just how it works here. The good thing about Canada, and it's amazing, and we have to take advantage of that, is that there's a shortage of talent. So the right candidate is not going to pop in my screen. No, I have to call a lot of candidates in order to get my job filled. Because when they hire me as a headhunter, they are looking for the checklist that the hiring manager was asking for. They're not going to be flexible with the candidates that I've sent. So that's why the headhunters, they are not going to be answering you right away. They have 6 jobs per month that they will be looking for to fill it out. So it's better that you go actually active and start writing right away to the companies and the hiring managers that you want to work with. Having this passive thing, it works. But if you keep on waiting, this will be 2 months, 3 months, and then maybe the job in the end that you end up getting is not the one that you wanted for. Well, if you're active, you're giving a 50-50 chance of getting the right job. How are you going to expand your networking? Well, there's company websites, like you're able to see what is happening with that company, who is the directors, who are the C-level persons within that company. Contract opportunities, that's things, those are things that actually happen here. Like maternity leave is a little bit longer, so it means that they will need to hire someone for that 6-month maternity leave or a year maternity leave, and those are opportunities that you will be able to get. And not everyone is getting babies every single point. Like it's just opportunity that happens in the second. And if you have written to the talent acquisition, hey, I'm a purchasing manager, and then she finds out that the purchasing manager is leaving because on her or his maternity leave, paternity leave, then they will be getting back to you. Like those are facts and those are things that actually happen. Proactive interviews, like there's nothing wrong on attending to interviews. Like if they reach out to you because they're looking for someone in whatever role, say yes. Why not? Like you are preparing yourself for the good interview that will eventually come out, and every time that you go to an interview, you'll be able to understand a little bit, oh, I did that, I should have mentioned this. So when the final opportunity gets there, you're going to be amazing at your interview, and the company that you want to work with, they will love you. Or maybe what will happen is that if you go into that interview and they end up liking what you had as a profile, and you end up liking what they were saying about the career development for that role, well, there you go, you have a role there, an opportunity. Job fairs, they are always important, and here multinational companies, they really expand their networking there. And traditional networking, like who do you know within, like people when they arrive to Canada, they tend to associate with people from their same countries. So who do you know in your small networking, in your small network, will help you to get to the next step that you want? Who is the person that is going to reach out to you and going to help you to get that good opportunity in another company? And then first tip that I will say here is, which roles would you want to apply? Like go back and think which parts of your job you miss and which part of your job you don't miss. And then what are the things that you're going to look for in terms of jobs? Take new opportunities. That's why it's reconsider new opportunities. Like someone that did purchasing may be able to do the shipping receiving role for a big company, because they understand like the logistics of how is getting the materials inside and outside. Doing the inventory management is really similar. So we consider new opportunities. There's a shortage of talent here. It's just you need being creative enough to understand where are your skills that you're going to be able to provide as an asset for the company. Investigate what are the skills that the companies usually look for. Go and see which are the job posts that they have. Usually the TA position managers, they will copy and paste the culture piece because they look for that in all of the people that they are recruiting for. So understand what is the people that they are looking for in that company, and understand what are you going to be able to bring into the table. And then on the other piece of the skills is going to be like if they need a designation, if they need a certain degree, or if they need certain experience with an an industry. So here in Canada is really important, all of the experience, but then the designation. If you want a better salary, you really need to have that designation. And it's kind of frustrating because I know here people are senior enough to have their own professional degrees and stuff, but designation here is really important because it's basically how the government is telling the people how to do their jobs. So the people that gets the manager, the director positions are the ones that have the designated, because they are the ones that are an okay for the government to do the job, right? So they usually have an increase of 10K, 20K, 30K in some cases, just for having that small piece of paper. So if you're able to get it, do it. I know, for example, for engineers is difficult. For the PNG, I know it's frustrating, but like do it. It's a good thing to do, and and it will get you a good job. Like people want people to write documents and stuff. And then investigating who the hiring manager is or TA specialist. If you see that there's this opportunity that the company is going to be looking for, understand who is the person that will be hiring this role for. Go back to their experience. And sometimes it will be really, really surprising that this person has been there for a year or for 6 months. So they will most likely be an immigrant like yourself, and they just been there, like just sitting there for a couple of years, and they could really like relate to your story. Or maybe they come from a different industry and they are just trying to learn from the business. Again, Canada has a shortage of talent, so everyone is working their best to get the job done. And people, they really change industries from one to another because technical people is really difficult to get here. Now, the last piece, and I think is the one that people just take, they just take it for, they just take it for granted. Because once the company have asked me that they want to interview me, oh, that's it, I get the interview. When it's actually, I think, one of the most important pieces of all, because if you don't prepare yourself for the interview, then you're not going to be successful. So before the interview, go back to the job description. I know that sometimes candidates, they apply to 20 jobs in a day. And then when I call them like, hey, you applied for this role? And they're like, which role? Who are you? And I'm like, yeah, so I have to tell them a little bit about this. After that call has happened, go back to the job description. See if that is the role that you really want to work with. Don't make anyone waste their time, because one thing could happen. The company will hate you eventually if they pass you an offer and you don't move forward with that. Or you can close you further opportunities with any of those hiring managers that would eventually be in another company. Here, the market is really small, so avoid making people lose their time. If you really want the job, apply for the job, prepare for the job, interview for the job. If you don't want it, you can apply for it, and then if you see that they called you, oh, sorry, actually, I don't want to do it. That's okay. Then review the company. Of course, you have to analyze if you really want to work for that company. I was just telling a little bit on your team here that it has happened to me that candidates have write to me, oh, I want to be, I have always wanted to work for Hayes and I want to be their project engineer. And we provide a service. We're not looking for the project engineers. I'm looking for that for a client in a manufacturing company. So it's really different. You can actually think that people are going to hire you for the role, and then you have to look for the company, what the company is looking for. It can be a headhunter, it can be a service agency, it can be a contractor. Like, you really need to understand who the company is. And then they highlight your stronger skills. So you go back to your job, to your resume, the nice resume that you have updated, and then you understand which achievements are going to be the ones that you want to highlight and definitely mention in that interview. Highlight them, review your profile, study again your profile. That is really important. And then highlight the relevant achievements that you want to present. So that's basically it. The interview details were who is going to interview. That's really important. Who is going to be the person that will be the first point of contact for that company? Review who is that person. Look for who their hiring manager is or the talent acquisition person. Research the industry, because even though you applied and you learn from the company, learn from who is interviewing you, what is happening in the industry right now in Canada, not in the world, in Canada, in BC specifically, in Vancouver, in the lower mainland area, what is happening in that industry? So you can actually speak and have smart conversations with the person that is interviewing you. Organize your agenda for the day of the interview. So it's really important, again, that if the interview was set up at 11, make sure that you don't have anything at 10 a.m. because things happen at last minute, and the last thing you want to do is cancel the interview. So make sure that you have the right amount of time to prepare yourself before the interview. I will say half an hour or an hour, depending on how technical or senior the interview is. And then you'll be able to go back to your notes. Why did you apply for the role? What were you preparing for the role? And then be perfectly for that interview. So organize the day so that the day of the interview, you'll be able to do that. Cancel things. And if you're not able to make it, try the person that is trying to book the interview, try the person to please, can we do it another day? I have this thing that is really important. And it's better if you take the time and not waste the time of the person that will be interviewing you if you come unprepared, because you will give again a wrong impression of yourself as a professional. Now, for the day of the interview, if it's a video call, connect 10 minutes before. I always connect 10 minutes before with my candidates to check cam, mic, and audio, just because we never know what technology will surprise us with. And then the dress code. Even though it's a video call, t-shirts, hoodies, like you're trying to make the company understand that you're interested in the company. If you come along with a hoodie or a t-shirt in summer, that is just not going to send the right message, even though it's a really like free environment company. It's important that you wear a nice shirt, a nice blouse in the case of lady, and even a jacket. I don't know, depending on the industry, because they may see you're dressed too smart for the company. But you need to like dress formal for the occasion. If it's on site, then where is the interview? There are so many places here that you really need to understand how it's going to be the commute if you don't have the car. And also you have to think about like how traffic is going to be at that time. So make sure that you understand how it's going to be the logistics for arriving to that interview. And again, the dress code. For on-site, I think it's better, well, video as well, but it's important that the person that is booking the interview, you can ask her, sorry, what will be the dress code for this? And they may laugh a little bit, but they will really appreciate this, because most likely the person that is booking the interview is the person that has not asleep for the last 2 days looking for you to do that interview. So they will do everything on their plate to help you out to be successful to that interview. So ask that person the questions about what should you do in terms of like dress code, in terms of like what is the hiring manager thinking about, like what is the personality of the person like. Those are questions that you can do. And then write it in a piece of paper or in a blog or whatever, in your phone, write the questions that you want to ask the interviewer. And in the end, there's usually this part where the people say, well, do you have any questions? Write those questions. And even though the person covered them throughout the interview, you'll be like, okay, well, I wanted to ask you this, but you already told me this. I wanted to ask you this, but you already told me this. So the worst thing you can say, oh, I was going to ask a lot of things, but you already answered them. It's like, really, no, I wanted to ask you, like, show them that you were prepared for the interview. The third stage, thank you email. I always think is nice when after an interview, the person writes to me like, hey, Juliana, it was really nice meeting you. Thank you very much for your time today. I look forward in seeing you again or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's a thank you email. And then wait for 2 days ask for a feedback. Because what happened is that they will send a thank you email, and then the next day they'll be like, oh, is there any news? I know people are stressed, but sometimes, unfortunately, the hiring manager needs to think about other stuff, other projects, and hiring someone is important, but if they are not fixing those issues, they're not going to be able to have the money to hire that person, right? So first, like, there's some priorities in the company. So if they haven't give you feedback, it's because something happened. Also, what you can do by the end of the interview is ask the person how is there going to be like the next stages. Even though they haven't say anything, ask them about next stages, because most likely they will say, oh, I think by this day you'll be able to get an answer from us. So write that day like, hey, as we discussed, I know that by this day I will be able to have an answer from yourself. Like, do that. It's not wrong with doing those things. Like, they know you took your time to attend to an interview. The least they can do is just send you an email saying, thank you very much, we move forward with another candidate, or thank you very much, these are the things that is happening, we're going to take a little bit longer on giving you and providing you that feedback. And these are like the last avoid things I want to show you. So lack of preparation and interview is the worst thing you can do. Like, if you go into an interview and you show to the company that you're actually not that interested in what the company is doing, or you don't even know what the company does, what they manufacture, what services they provide, or what struggles they have had so far, like, that's not going to be looking good in yourself. Negative comments. So for example, this is usually when you're working for a company, and then when you tell them like, why? Oh, because the culture is really difficult there, the manager screams all the time, their people don't take their job seriously, and you start saying all the negative comments. So some people, they will be okay, don't worry, but then there are some other people that would highlight this as, I don't know if I want a person to be talking bad about my company, because not any not I mean no company is perfect. So there are some companies that have different issues. So it's important that you learn to deliver that message in a positive way. In a positive way, meaning, oh, I just don't feel that I connect with their culture. I feel that I will be engaging more in an environment where I will be able to have a boss that would encourage me to be better, where I will be able to have a career path. Currently, I'm not feeling that support from my company. And you're not saying anything negative. You're just saying that the company and you are not aligned in the same route. It's totally different. You deliver the message. You don't want to work for that company, but you're avoiding the negative comments. Lack of clarity. So if they ask you, have you ever lead a team? And then you'll be like, oh, well, I supervise this team, and then I coordinate this, and then we had some projects where I was part of the projects, and then in the end you didn't say anything, but at the same time you say, I don't. So there's no wrong in saying no. It's better rather than just mumbling around and then not answering the question, because that actually frustrates people more. Ignore the feedback from your interview. That's terrible. Sometimes people, because they are so egocentric, and then they are just so I don't know, proud of themselves, if I provide them a feedback like, hey, it's better if you should like say this in this way, then they'll look at me and like, whatever. That is not good. It's really important, especially here in Canada, that you actually hear the feedback from your interviewer. You need to be more open, because you're emerging into a new culture. And here people, they are a little bit more passive aggressive. People, they say things in a way that they wanted to say, but they don't want to say it. Like, people here, they're a little bit more, they don't want to hurt you, but they will want to say this stuff. So if you, even though you ignore their feedback, that is going to be terrible. Like, if they say something, they are really struggling saying those things. But if they want to say them, like, appreciate them, thank you, be thankful with them, like, oh, thank you. Because here the culture is really different. They try not to make people feel bad, but if they're trying to provide you a feedback, trust me, they are doing it under their best wishes. They're not doing it wrong. Excuses, like if you join the call and it's been 30 minutes and you haven't joined the call for the interview, oh, sorry, I had this. No, try to fix it right away. Hey, so my phone is not working. I tried to do this. What can we do to solve the thing? Because again, we're not interviewing for entry-level positions. We're interviewing for manager positions. So what are the solutions that you'll be able to provide them? I had a scenario the other day with a candidate that is running for a director of operations position. And he was like, sorry, the Teams is not working. My Teams was not working. The hiring manager Teams was not working. And he was like, no worries, I got Zoom, I can send a link. And I was like, yeah, perfect, send a link. And then he solved it. So when we joined the call, the first thing I told the hiring manager was, well, you look for problem solving, the candidate has problem solving, he managed to fix the interview without losing us all the time. So the excuses is not good. Problem solving is good. And then before the interview, reconfirm salary. What are the salary that they were going to pay? What is their role going to be? Hybrid, on-site, remote? Understand if you're going to be able to assist if it's an on-site job. Are you going to be able to do the commute every single day? The location, are you going to commute to that place? Is it easy for you? The name of the role. It surprises me when sometimes candidates, they come to the interview and they don't know even the role that they were interviewing for. I do a preparation with my candidates before they go into an interview with the hiring manager, but sometimes they come to that meeting with me and they don't know what the name of the role is. So try to know the name of the role that you're interviewing for. And then understand the career opportunities. Everyone is a different place. I know some people migrate here to Canada because they want to have quality of life, and they'll be okay with a good job that will give them good salary, and they will be okay. But then there are some people that are more ambitious and they want to continue developing their career. So at which point of your life are you that you will want to have like career opportunities, or just want a good job that you'll be able to have for the rest of your life and don't worry about anything? So try to understand a little bit more about that. And yeah, I think that's all. So I would like to understand if there's any questions. I'm just going to hide this and then return to the call. But I don't know if there's any questions you would like to ask me now.
Yeah, hello, hi. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you for the time. At this time,